Hello, everybody. Welcome to LT Outdoors Sunday Night Live. I'm going to share real quick here on Facebook World so everybody out there can see that I'm live. Got a few different things to talk about. Got any questions, feel free to ask. I'm always happy to answer anything that has to do with the outdoors, as long as it's not where am I fishing. It's not even wanting to load today on Facebook. Hopefully that doesn't mean I'm going to have a bad stream. Yep. So I guess I'm not going on Facebook. Hey, Don, how you doing, buddy? Try it one more time. There we go. Okay. Uploaded to Facebook. Hey, sis, how you doing? All right, Don. Hey there, Rodney. I hope you guys are having a good week. Hey, Josh, how you doing, buddy? Yes. Yeah, I'm having a decent week. Getting tired of this hot weather. I do not like it. Hey, Jen. Hey there, Mark. How you guys doing? Long time no see. The little turds here sleeping between my feet on the floor, but yeah, she turned 1 year old. I think it was the 10th was her birthday. But Gemma is being a tail just a going. But this evening, I'm going to talk about a few different things. Like I said, every week, I'm going to try and show off some of my favorite digs from the week from metal detecting. And this week I'll be talking some about mushroom hunting because right now is actually a good time to get out there. We've had a decent amount of rain in the state lately, and it's perfect. Today, while I was out metal detecting, I did find mushrooms just while I was metal detecting, so I know they are up. The ones that I seen today were russellas, and those are usually the ones that the lobster mushroom takes over, so I'm sure lobsters are up right now. Chanterelles I know are up. It's a good time to get out and look for those mushrooms. So Jen says, happy birthday, jammers. Tail's just a whipping. Hey, Rick. Rick says hi too, Jim. She says, I'm going to come out and say hi. You come up, baby. Oh, come on, girly. Get up. Come on, girly. Get up and say hi to everybody. Yeah, Gemma turned 1 year old. I think it was the 10th was her birthday. I know it was somewhere around there. You can't be sliding a computer around, kid. But yeah, been a decent week. Today I was out digging. I did not bring the camera though today. It was just a day I wanted to get out. I've been tying lures all week, the craziness, and get out and have some fun. So I went out and dug today without the camera, and I ended up digging a new personal record. I dug $21 and I think 40 cents and change. Crazy. I've never dug that much in one day. I think my recent record before this was like $5 and something. So to dig over $20 and change in one day is pretty epic. I also got two lots and lots of fun. My back's killing me from that dig, but it was definitely nice and worth it. So I had a couple goals in mind this season when I started digging, and it was something I'd never done before. When my mom passed away, she had a lot of vases because she loved flowers. Well, I haven't done anything really with the vases, and I told myself I wanted to try and fill a vase. You know, by the end of season, I wanted to fill a vase with change. I wanted to see if I could do it. Well, and just dug change, not change out of my pocket. And as of today, my first vase is complete. I could not fit, and it's a big vase. I could not fit any more in there and had to start a second vase. So I'm pretty excited because to me, that's a kind of like a little mini savings account that I can keep on the side. I mean, I've only got, between the two vases right now, there's, just over $50 probably, but that's pretty dang cool for change that you've dug out of. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun to fill the vases. Thanks, sis. Thank you. I think she would too. Just knowing that they're not sitting around and not being used. And I think she would love to see them too. She always loved change too, especially old change. She would go nuts if she seen how much I got. Oh, I'll tell you, Brad, it is you start metal detecting, and I have a bad back. Most people don't know it, but I have a bad back. I've had surgeries done. I've had some crap done with my back, and it's a mess. I think it's worse after the surgeries, but it doesn't take long. I used to be able to dig for a complete day. I could dig 12 hours, no problem. I can't do that no more, man. 4 hours tops, and I am just burnt. My back is killing me. So today I crawled around for, I don't know, probably 2.5 hours, and my back was killing me, and it was hot and muggy. So, but to get $21 and something and change in that little time was insane. It was insane. Well, thank you, Rodney. Thank you. I'll have to next week. I'll bring the vase out and have it set in here so you guys can see. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome, man. Hey there, Rob. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that too. I did change the name of my metal detecting channel. Hopefully, most of you are already on it. Brad, I didn't know if you knew that LT Outdoors Treasure Hunter, but I changed it recently because I thought about it. It's not just LT Outdoors. I'm planning on digging with a lot of my digging buddies. Rick right now is a big digger with me. He goes out a lot. My sister Robin will probably go out a bunch with detecting junkies, because really that's what it is. I am a junkie when it comes to digging up detecting junkies. I figured it'd also be easier for people to find, because most people, that's something you got to remember when you make a channel. If any of you are interested in making a channel, you have to name it something that people could possibly search for. You can't name something some crazy name and expect people to just find it. Don't work that way. Metal detecting junkies opens up a door where all people have to do is type in metal detecting. And once I grow a little more with people and subscribers, that will put me right up top where they type that in, and boom, metal detecting junkies will pop right up there. So, hey there, Mike. How you doing, buddy? But I've got a few of the cool finds from the other day sitting here. I did get another piece of silver this week. I'm up to 9 silver coins this season. So, yeah, pretty darn good. I don't know how many of you watched today's digging episode, but it was my best dig of the season. I dug 3 silver coins, including my Standing Liberty $50, which was only the second one of my life. It was a really great epic dig. So if you haven't got to watch that dig yet and you have time this evening, I recommend it. It was a really fun time. Hey, Don, how you doing, buddy? I hope the girls are doing good. Tell them I said hi. We definitely got to get in touch. I've got the stuff just kind of sitting around. I still got to get the one out for the boy too. This week, guys, things are getting tougher to get done anymore because all of a sudden, it's funny. We went most of the season with no rain, and I mean, I didn't like that either. That it's not good to have a drought. Well, all of a sudden, we go from having a drought to having almost all the days every week calling for rain and thunderstorms. That's not good either, especially when you have a channel. Makes it tough to get out and get anything done. So I have to try and plan every single day that looks good around the channel to try and at least get some things done. Now, I do have a video scheduled for Wednesday on this channel, so you do have that to look forward to. Tomorrow, I'll be out doing some more digging. Me and Rick are going to head up to a friend's house in Glenny, and it had an old homestead on the property, and the property itself is really cool. So I'm looking forward to hopefully finding some old stuff, because I really want to get into the old coins, possibly Indian head pennies and mercury dimes and stuff like that. I love Indian heads, and I'm hoping to get into those. One thing I want to show you tonight that I did dig this week, which I thought was pretty interesting, and it forced me to order something. I just ordered a silver testing kit because I dug this really weird piece the other day, and it's kind of boggling my mind. It's not magnetic, so it could be lead, it could be silver, it could be titanium. Who knows? Watch it. It scratches really nice and shiny. The neat thing about it really is that it's stamped with Morley Brothers was on the front of this thing. Now, Morley Brothers it was one of the biggest companies that started down in Saginaw back in the 1800s. They also had the biggest building down there for the longest time. So I'm thinking there's a chance that this could be like a Morley's Brothers silver bar that they maybe had made up, because they definitely had the money back then. They were one of the richer companies. So who knows? Could be lead, could be silver, but I will be having it checked out. It also had these X's across it, which didn't make much sense to me. Um, the whole thing is just crazy, but it's a Morley Brothers and it's got the 4 X's going across it. So yeah, just a unique find. And this was dug. You can see this was dug right in the backyard of somebody's house. So it was very strange. Hey, how you doing, Lewis Mowers? Hope you're week. Another thing that I ordered some special stuff for to start cleaning with is aluminum. I ordered something to specifically clean aluminum. I dug this huge token the other day. I love tokens because there are thousands and thousands of them out there that are all different. You never know what you're going to dig for a token. There's store tokens, there's railroad tokens, there's lumber tokens. I mean, really, you just never know. Tokens are awesome. Now, this right here was a Spiegel's token, which was a store. And this token was made back in like the late 1800s to early 1920s was the only time that they made these tokens. This was a $50 token for the Spiegel's. And I just ordered an aluminum cleaning kit. It's just special stuff to rub on there that'll hopefully clean it up and make it look really nice and new again. So hopefully that. Go blue. Heck yeah, buddy. Also, the other day I dug a buckle, which to most people might not be the coolest thing in the world, but to me it is. I love digging any buckles. They all tell a story. This could have been off a horse harness. This could have been off. It could have been a boot buckle. You never know. Either way, it's old. I like digging anything with some age. The old buckles, they all have a story to tell, and to me, they're all cool in my book. Hey, Max, how you doing, buddy? Hopefully you're doing really good in the bass tournament world. I also dug, I need to remember the name of this company. I dug this the other day, which I was bummed that it was broken off. The other piece was not there. I love digging old silverware because back in the day, silverware got its name because there was a lot of it actually made of silver. There's a lot of actual silverware. Now, this one here was Union Nickel Co., which was mostly a nickel brand made company. But the cool thing about Union Nickel Co. is it was also late 1800s and early 1900s. This is probably like a 1920s piece of silverware. So again, old stuff. I love digging anything old. So to me, it's a lot of fun. Another thing I wanted to talk about tonight, guys. Oh, nice. Detroit River. Heck yeah, buddy. I hope you have a blast down there. That should be fun. Hopefully you get into some giant smallies. Like I said, guys, the mushrooms right now are up. This is a good time of year. Most people, when you think of mushrooms, most people only think of the morel in the edible world, but there are way more than that. If you watch through some of my old foraging videos, you will see that there are an awful lot of mushrooms growing in Michigan that you can eat. And most of my videos, I explain that there are no dangerous lookalikes to most of the mushrooms that I hunt, which makes it really a great thing because that's the big problem. Most people don't want to venture out and pick a bunch of random mushrooms because they're afraid they could be poisonous. But a lot of the mushrooms that I personally dig, they have no lookalikes. They're very easy to pick out. And I do that mostly just so you guys can see and learn and realize that there's good stuff out there that's easy to find and safe to eat. Right now is a good time to get out and find black trumpets, which that's one that doesn't have a lookalike. There's the lobster mushroom, again, does not have a lookalike. You've got the chanterelles. They do have a lookalike, but the lookalike, you can read up on it. It's very easy to tell the difference between the two. And the chanterelle mushroom is really delicious. There are a few different chanterelles. You can pick the cinnabar chanterelle, which is a really pretty bright orange. There's also a golden chanterelle, which is more of kind of a yellowish color. They'll be up right now like crazy. Lobster mushrooms is actually it's not really a mushroom as much as it is I want to say bacteria, but it's not. It's something that takes over the mushrooms and causes it to change color. They will take over other species of mushrooms, especially species like the russula. They tend to really take over those ones, but they will take over those mushrooms. They will cause them to turn the color like a red, almost lobster color red. And then they also get kind of a fishy smell to them, the lobster smell. Now that's something that you can find right now that is very easy to find. The lobster mushroom will not take over a poisonous mushroom, so it's something that if you find it, it's good to go. It does make a really good if you want to make some kind of pasta like a shrimp pasta or something, it's a really good additive to put in there because you're going to get that seafood flavor. Plus you got the mushroom in there, so you get the mushroom texture and taste. So it's really great to try. Thanks, Lewis. Appreciate that. Cauliflower mushroom. See, that one I don't know of. I don't think I've ever. Oh, hen of the woods. Yep, hen of the woods. They should be right. They start. You can pick them this time of year, especially when it gets rainy, and then they will disappear when it gets droughty again, usually around August. And then you can also find them again in September around squirrel season. Usually around squirrel seasons when I find the majority of my hen of the woods. The chicken of the woods, again, same thing pretty much. They're going to be, I think we're past the date. You know, they usually come up last month along with the hen of the woods. So I think we've kind of missed those because of the drought, but they'll be coming up again this fall. So I would go out and look for those more in September, right around the time that that the squirrel season and that starts. Small game season is really a kicker for a lot of good mushrooms that you can eat. Yeah, dead oak stumps. Yep, that's the great thing too, guys. Hardwoods. If you want to get into picking these great delicious mushrooms, if you can find yourself a bunch of oak stands and popples and things like that, you're gonna find good mushrooms. They grow off these hardwoods and stuff. So, and around the dead oak stumps, that's where you find, like Rodney just said, the hen of the woods will be growing right from that stump. Chicken of the woods will be growing right off the oak trees or stump. And lion's mane, Robert just mentioned too, same thing later. I usually get the majority of my lion's mane in September and even into early October. You'll find those on a lot of the dead trees. I find them mostly on the laid out poplars is where I will find a lot of my lion's mane, but they also grow on the oaks and that too. But it is a really great time to get out and look for them. Right now, there are several species of mushrooms that you could go out and pick. I'll be getting out probably this week and doing some videos for you guys so I can get that going just to show you again, because I do know I have a lot more new followers than I did last year, and a lot of you might not know what to look like. You may not have watched my videos because some people don't like to go back and watch old videos. So it's probably a good idea for me to make some new ones just so you can see again how I do my mushroom picking. But it is definitely a great time of year. The lobster mushrooms should be going crazy right now with this weather, like this humid stuff and some rain. We're a little past date for the oyster. They will grow off and on. You'll find some randomly throughout the summertime. Majority of the oyster growth is early June. But we had a drought that whole month, so it ruined that. They will grow again in the fall, but they're different. Fall oysters are not the same as your spring oysters. They're actually thicker, and they got a little bit of a different taste. But that's what's going on that time of year. We have missed a few different growths this year due to this lack of rain. It's been a messed up year. But all of a sudden, Mother Nature's kind of chucking it all at us, which is going to be kind of good as far as the mushroom woods go. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on pretty fast here with a lot of different things. The black trumpet, Rodney, I do have some videos with that one. it's very easy to they're hard to find only because, like the morel, they blend into everything around them. But when you do find them, there's nothing that looks like them. They literally look like a trumpet. They are black. They in almost charcoal black. They're not pitch black like a charcoal black though, but they grow up and into a tube like a trumpet. And there is absolutely nothing that looks like them. You can't mistake them, and they're pretty dang good. I like to cook them up and make pastas and stuff with them too. But they grow most of the black trumpets that I find. They're in the oak woods, but they're just kind of randomly growing. You'll find patches of them here and there. Also, sandy marl. If you're on a nice sandy trail, I have found black trumpets growing all over the trails. There's something about sand that they really like. Same with the chanterelles. I find a lot of chanterelles growing right in the sandy trails, especially the cinnabars, which are the smaller red chanterelles or orange, bright orange. They grow right in the middle of the trails. I think there's a bunch in. Okay, cool, Rodney. Yeah. Yep. No, you can even, I tell everybody I don't know everything. I try to learn as much as I can every single year, but if I tell you something, never hurts to look and second check it and all that stuff. Fact check, I don't care. Because it doesn't mean nothing to me, because I'd rather you guys check before you went out. But I'm telling you, black trumpets, they're real easy to identify, and you won't find anything else that looks like those. They're super easy. They're also very brittle. They will crumble apart on you because there's not much to them. They're pretty thin. There's really nothing to them at all. They're very thin. And when you fry them up, they fry pretty quick. I wouldn't cook them very long. Yeah, they're kind of a unique mushroom. Hey, how you doing, Brandon? Hope you're having a good night too, man. I'm having a decent week. I went out and I mentioned it earlier. I dug a total of $21.40 in change today, which was, I just blew my old record right out of the park. So that was pretty cool. It was all clad change for the most part, a couple $50, but still I was able to fill up my vase, which was my first goal, and now I'm working on the second vase. So I'm pretty excited about that and pretty proud of myself to be able to keep pushing like that. Tomorrow, me and Rick are going to go out and we're going to dig on some historical stuff, trying to find the most historical things that I could possibly find. It's hard. What people don't understand is in the state of Michigan, it's really hard to find historical stuff. We don't have the Civil War history like they do out east or down south. We don't have, I know it's a bad thing, but we don't have the slave history. So we don't have a lot of that, the cotton stuff and all there's just a lack of history in Michigan. Now, we have a lot of history, but our history here in Michigan is mostly Native American history, which is still cool. But at the same time, how many Native Americans did you know that ran around with coins or silver or guns? I mean, it was just, they didn't carry much for metal. So, if you're into the Native American type stuff, yeah, you're going to find, arrowheads, you're going to find clay marbles, pottery, stuff like that, which is the state is full of, and that is cool. But, as far as metal detecting goes, the state of Michigan is definitely not one of the hot states to be doing it in. I try my best to find history wherever I can, but it is not easy in this state. We have a few places like Sault Ste. Marie, or there's a couple other towns in Michigan that are really old, but even then, is when I say really old, I'm talking 1700s, and that's, in the scheme of things, that's not that old. If you watch some videos from over in England and stuff like that, they are finding some stuff like BC, and I mean, amazing stuff, things that I could probably never ever find in Michigan. So, but I surely try. I can't say on here, Brandon, if I did, everybody would go. Everybody would go because it was a public place. But I'll tell you, some of them public places, if you want to go and find just a pile of coins, the public places are where it's at. For history, not so much. You'll find some, but public places are not normally good for that. Ah, cool, Josh. Where'd you go? Did you go to the UP for that, or I know Rick says he gets them pretty good up in Drummond Island. But hey there, Canuck, how you doing? I got something interesting that you might, maybe you know what it is. I just ordered one of those silver testing kits because I have no idea. I was going to bring it to a jeweler and have it checked. It's non-magnetic, so sure, it could be titanium, could be lead. It's scratched, nice and shiny, but it's from one of the biggest stores that were ever built in Saginaw back in the 1800s and early 1900s, Morley Brothers. So it just seems weird that such a big business would have this brick, and it has these X's across it, which is another weird thing. And it was perfectly made. I mean, it's literally a block. That's all it was a block. So very strange. But I did order some of that testing stuff. I think it's an acid. I don't know. But I ordered some stuff just to see, because if it does end up being silver, that would be cool. That would be very random, but it would be cool. So yeah, that was something neat that I dug this week. Oh, thanks, Don. Appreciate it, man. Oh, there is a ton. There is a ton. If you ever get a chance to take the girls up here, Don, let me know. I would love to show you guys the ropes and get you out there on them. There's even more than that in there. I mean, I didn't get on sheephead. I didn't get on walleye, catfish. I mean, there is everything in that river. That is what I love about the Ausable. There is everything. The one thing that we don't really have that we see downstate is the, white bass and white perch. I wish we had them, but we don't. Yeah, I know. Will. I really want to take trips to the UP to really look, because that would be nice. Hey, Ray, how you doing, buddy? Me Miner would be able to identify that. Is he one of the metal detectorists on the channel? Does he have a channel? Yeah, this thing is just it's I don't know. It was very weird, and I dug it right behind a house. It was down about 10 inches. I mean, it's just one of those strange things. I also dug a store token, which I'm sure you've dug tons of, but this was a first for me. I dug a Spiegel's. It was a $50 Spiegel's store token. I just ordered some special aluminum cleaning stuff too that's supposed to be really good on the aluminum and just get rid of that crud, make it look nice. So okay, I appreciate that. I will have to get a hold of him and maybe send him a picture or something. I'll write that name down, because it's just strange. And like a company that they actually had the biggest building in Saginaw for the longest time, like the tallest building. So they were the first what was it? Oh gosh. They made clothing. They were like the first and biggest clothing company down there. So they definitely had money. I'm just curious to see what it is. I never ever thought I could possibly dig a silver brick, but if it does end up being that, I will be pretty excited. You fished Loon Lake today. Hopefully you did good. That is one that I've never fished. I don't like how deep it is. I know too that there's not a huge variety of fish in that lake. It's supposed to be good for walleye and perch and stuff, but that's something. Even though I've lived up here my whole life, I've never fished Loon Lake. Thanks, Rodney. Yeah, even I'll tell you this: if it ends up being lead, which I mean, it could be. It very well could be. If it does end up being lead, I'm going to save it. I'm going to collect it because, like I said, it is an artifact, just like you just said, Rodney. It has the name of a business that was once around back many, many years ago, which to me, any business back in the 1800s, early 1900s is just awesome in my book. I love the stories that this thing could probably tell. So it is very heavy. It is very heavy. Oh, thanks, Johnny. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, that one was That one was probably 18, 19 inches. I should have measured it, but I didn't. I did weigh this. It was 1 pound, 7 ounces is how heavy that was, Josh. 1 pound, 7 ounces. Yeah, it's a good lake for walleye, but I've never fished it. I know some guys that fish it in the winter time, but I've yet to do it. Now, like I said, guys, this week there's so much bad weather coming our way scheduled for the next couple weeks, but I will try to get out every single day that is good. Any day that's not raining and thundering, I'm getting out and doing something. I have to, especially for the channel. Tomorrow, like I said, me and Rick are going to go and we're going to dig a property that's got some historic stuff going on. Hopefully we find some really cool old relics. I like to dig anything cool and old, and I know Rick does too. The other day he dug two different, love digging those things. One of which was like an old fuel faucet head, so that was cool. But lots of cool stuff. It's of you that are interested in metal detecting, I tell everybody this. I don't recommend going to the same old places, beaches, parks, ball fields, stuff like this. That's all stuff that's been done a million times over the years. You're not going to find anything too awesome at those places. You might find a ring, you might find some new jewelry, a lot of clad coins, but in my opinion, that stuff, most of it's junk. I like to find the old classic stuff, something with some history, something with a story. That kind of stuff you have to get on the private properties, or at least find some public spots that might be off the grid that nobody knew about. There are different mapping systems out there nowadays that can help you find these things. I've been doing it myself to find new little hidden areas that I never knew about, and I've been traveling to find these places. Me and Rick and his wife Denise were talking about hopefully soon taking a trip up to Sheboygan, because there's a lot of history up there, and just spending a whole day in Sheboygan digging around and trying to find some cool artifacts. So yeah, it should be interesting. So hopefully you guys enjoy my metal detecting channel. I've seen it grow a little bit. It's growing pretty slow, but I am happy to see it grow even as slow as it is. Now on this channel, I will be trying to get out this week, probably to do some more fishing for, I kind of want to get into some pike this week if I get the chance, because I did, if you watched my recent video, I caught a really nice pike, and that was just me screwing around. This time of year is a good time of year to catch the big pike in waters like that. That was just a nice little slack water location in the river. Any river you are on, if it's got some current and you can find a slack water area, if that river holds pike, those big pike are going to be in those slack water holes. They like to just rest there so they can get their energy back up to go and smash some panfish. That's just a great place to fish. And I have a few of them on the river that I like to fish, and hopefully I can get out and just do a crazy day smashing pike here really soon. Have you fished on Fletcher's, Don? Because to me, that lake's pretty dang easy. There is a lot on that lake. I'll tell you though, because I like you and I like your kids, I will tell more places. There are a lot of small lakes that are really good, and I'm not saying this so that everybody and their brother wants to go out and fish them, because I'm going to say this right now. Every single county in Michigan has Great Lakes. I have only found 1 or 2 lakes in my entire life that have been below average. Other than that, every lake is awesome in its own way. In saying that, there's a couple areas that I like a little more than others, especially up here. If you ever get a chance, Don, Sand Lake area, which is just past Tawas. It's just west of Tawas City. If you go to Sand Lake area, there are some really great lakes in that area that you could fish. Personally, I love to fish Round Lake, Indian Lake, There are just some really great little lakes off that way. Londo Lake, if you get a chance to pike fish, you want to fish pike, Londo is a good one. There's a ton of pike on Londo. Um, that's something I recommend. Also, any of the backwaters of the Asable River, especially Loud Pond, that's probably my favorite, but every single one of those backwaters is chock full of pike. So, oh, that's cool. Hey, Peyton, how you doing? That's great. I hope you guys are having an awesome night. I appreciate you joining in there, Peyton. Hey, John, I appreciate you getting on, man. Thank you. If you guys haven't already, I appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up button. It may not seem like much, but it does help. South Haven. Okay. Yeah, there are, just a lot of really awesome lakes in generally every county. Every county that I have ever fished, I've got videos on. I mean, when I spent the weekend or a few days in Muskegon, God dang, those lakes in Muskegon are insane, man. There are so many. There's Great Lakes everywhere, and if I had a chance, if my vehicle wasn't junk, if I could get out and travel the state more, I would show and I would prove to you guys that every county is awesome in its own way. Every county is great. There are awesome lakes to be found. All these little inland lakes are just insane. If there's not a billion boats out there on it all day, every day, they're awesome lakes, guaranteed. Some topwater pike. I've been thinking about doing that too. I really want to get out with my. I bought the duck. I bought the duck 2 years ago, and I haven't even used it. I was gonna go downtown Sheboygan. Was where I was looking to go, Josh. There was a few different little parcels of public land that I found that I would really like to hit. I mean, obviously, there's the state park. Again, that's one of those places that I bet you every metal detectorist has looked at a map and been like, let's go metal detect here. I like to find any random spot that I can. Hey, Ryan. Yeah, Londo is a fun one, especially for pike. Thanks, Lewis. Appreciate it, buddy. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, Londo, speaking of Ryan Kaziska here, he's one of my best friends from way back. I held a pike fishing tournament just between friends. It's been a long time now. I don't even remember. It's probably been, 15 years? It's been a long time, but it doesn't seem like that, but it has. And when I held that pike fishing tournament, it was only me and like 5 friends. We caught over 100 pike in one day on Londo. Ice fishing tournament. We had flags. When one would pop, 3 would pop, and it was just nonstop. We ran out of minnows, had to go get more. It's a fun lake. You get a chance, Londo's good. It's also got some giant largemouth bass, which just makes it even more fun. Had to have been more than 6 because Dad's been passed longer than that, believe it or not. And he was still around for that. It was when Julius was just out of school. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look in my book. I know it's been a long time though. Because I didn't even have Ruby yet. Ruby's actually 7 now. Okay, only through the ice. Yeah, I never recommend. It's fun to try new places on the ice, but trying new places on the ice is a lot harder than it is trying them open water. If you get a chance to fish Fletcher's open water, you're going to find a whole new monster, and you'll be able to learn things that you'll need to know for next winter. It'll really help you out. I do recommend, giving Fletcher's another try when you get a chance, especially for open water. It's a lot of fun. Hey, McParland, how you doing? Oh, I understand that. I just got mine fixed and went out yesterday, and my brand new tire, was already flat all the way down to the rim. Yeah, so, and then blew it up and wanted to see how long it took, and today it was back down to flat again. It's really hard when you can't trust your vehicle. I mean, I can't trust it to go anywhere. Big Creek Impoundment. Appreciate that, Rich. That's one I've never fished. Yep, that's something too to give a shot. Definitely a good spot. Counties. I've only done videos in probably 5 or 6 counties, but I'll tell you, everyone that I've done them in is great. Me, Ryan, my friend John, I can't even remember who. Oh, Kyle, Ryan's brother Kyle. We took a trip a long time ago again down or over to, what do you call that? It's the main dam across the state that everybody's always fighting at. We took a trip over there and we camped at it. Tippy Dam. We took a camping trip over there, and I'll tell you, we tried bass fishing some of those lakes. Tippy Dam Pond and all those other lakes that are around that area are just insane. They are really great. So if you're ever in that area and you don't want to fight everybody down at Tippy Dam, just go bass fishing. There are just awesome. There was one small lake. I can't think. Not Avalon, Eleanor, maybe had something like that. But that lake had some just giant bass in it. Lots of fun there. Lots of fun. Hey, Nathan, how you doing, buddy? Happy Sunday to you too. Hey there, Terry. Thank you, man. Thumbs up. I appreciate it. Was it Donor Lake? I couldn't remember. I hope you're having a good day, Terry. That's awesome. I know there was a lot of good lakes over there. We even fished one that was called Bass Lake, and it obviously had bass in it. That whole area over there, by Tippy Dam is just excellent fishing for all kinds of stuff. I even did a solo camping trip over there one time and I did just like a little bluegill adventure downtown right there, and they had a little tiny lake in the town just loaded with big bluegills. So I appreciate that, Ryan. You know how my memory is, man. It's pretty bad anymore. Oh yeah, definitely, McParland. Definitely. Especially the past couple winters. It's been, I guess it depends on how far they drop it. I'm not a fan of that. They have been dropping it a lot more than they used to in the wintertime, which is not good. It's already a shallow lake as it is, Fletcher's, and when they drop it like that, it just really messes things up. Last winter, I'm almost I'm going to say this because I really feel this is the problem. I think Fletcher's Pond is starting to get a little overpopulated with bluegills. It seems, a giant lake like that, it seems like it couldn't happen, but I really think it is. The last time I went out there this spring with a kayak, the entire shoreline of that lake was covered in spawning fish, and they were all little. It's very, very seldom that you see little bluegills on the beds instead of the good ones. And usually when they are, it's because the lake is overpopulated to be that point. I think too many people are taking the big pike and big bass and stuff out of there and just messing up the ecosystem. Have a good night, Lewis. I appreciate you getting on, man. I've heard of Walloon Lake. Yep. Never fished that one either, but I've heard of it. Good lakes in the state, even in the UP. You can't go anywhere without finding good places. I mean, for me around here, I go Glenny, Alpena, Ogama, Tawas, Hale. I can go anywhere and find some good lakes. But I could just as easily go downstate and do the same dang thing. Oakland County, I would have never imagined it, but Oakland has far more lakes than I got up here. Oakland County is chock full of lakes, and there is a lot of really great inland lakes in Oakland. Nice. That's good, Terry. That's the first I've heard of good perch coming out of there in a while. I had one guy send me pictures a couple weeks ago, but they weren't that big. They were kind of small. But yeah, I'll have to get out and do a topwater pike video for you guys here soon. I really like doing that kind of stuff anyway. It's nothing I could do in the river. You're not going to find pike. Actually, it's kind of tough this time of year in general because the pike, when the water gets hotter, the bigger pike get deeper, especially in the lakes themselves. You know, those lakes are going to go deep, or those pike are going to go deep. So it gets tougher. That's why I like to fish the holes a lot of the time. Nope, never heard of. Is it called Gravel Lake? I've never heard of that one, Rodney. Yeah, it's been a Gravel Lake. No, I've never heard of it. Never heard of that one. I have a big list. You know, I buy those, most of you know, I buy those Sportsman's Connection books, and I live by them things. I love them. I could sit and read them all day, every day. The stocking reports and all the net data and stuff like that is truly incredible. And it's just, to me, very interesting. You can learn a lot about a lake really fast just by reading those books. And I go through them, and I take a pad of paper and I write down every favorite lake that I find in there. Believe it or not, we have inland lakes down here in in the lower peninsula of Michigan that they literally stock 16 plus inch brook trout in these lakes. Like, I mean, you'd be amazed. You go through those books and you will find some amazing honey holes that you just didn't know were out there. It's a big learning tool, and you know, I wouldn't know as much as I did if it wasn't for stuff like that. You know, everybody wants to know how I know where to fish and this and that. It comes from research, no different than metal detecting. I do my research. I try to read up on every little location that I can. And same with lakes. I use Navionics. I use Google Maps. I use the Sportsman's Connection. I use any kind of media and any kind of books that I can. To help me get there. So there is no inland lake in Sanilac. I find that hard to believe, John. I have to research this now. I mean, we don't live in the desert. Seems like every county should have inland lakes. Okay, Sanilac's in the thumb. You have a lot. You have a whole lot of farm fields. Streams. I'll have to do my research. There's got to be some sort of lake, man. That'd be crazy though. If it is, I've never heard of a lake in the state that didn't have a place in the state without a lake. That's crazy. Oh, it's in the book? Okay. I'll have to look that up then. Because I bought every single book for the state of Michigan, and I've got books for Minnesota, Wisconsin. I wouldn't mind having them for everywhere if I can eventually get places or a vehicle that's travel worthy. West Twin. Yeah, I've heard good stuff out of there too. Supposedly Tiger. Yeah, that's probably the one in Lewiston. There's a east and a west up there in Lewiston. I'd assume there's so many twin lakes, it's hard telling. I'll have to look though. Okay. Yeah. I kind of figured that was the one. I mean, there's the whole tiger muskie thing. It's best to look at the stocking data because tiger muskies, this is something I'm going to tell you guys. Most of you probably already know this. Tiger muskies cannot breed. Okay. So if they stock a tiger muskie, it can only live there for its lifetime, you know, as long as it can live, and then it dies, and then that's it. Now, I have yet to find any kind of stock data proving that the state of Michigan has stocked any kind of tiger muskies since like the 80s or early 90s. I mean, they just really haven't done it. They've stocked the regular muskies in some of the lakes, but the tigers themselves, it's like they gave up on them, which I think is stupid. Don't get me started on that. I have a feeling that the state of Michigan likes to stock only the places that they feel are going to make their money off of charters and industry rather than us fishermen. I don't think they really care at all about us fishermen. That's why you don't see our inland lakes getting stocked like they should. We should have our inland lakes stocked up just as much as anything else. In fact, it's our money we're supposedly paying to help stock our stuff, when in reality all we're stocking is the Great Lakes, it seems. And to me, that's just not cool. Especially when most fishermen in the state of Michigan aren't out there to fish the Great Lakes. So I really think that's just a bullcrap system that the DNR's got going on. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, it drives me nuts. You know, I recently talked to an officer because I found out they're going to put a campground on a little tiny, not even a 5-acre lake. All right. And when I found this out, I said, okay, you guys better start some sort of stocking program, because obviously that 5-acre lake cannot put up with that kind of fishing. His response to me was, we're not going to stock no stupid little 5-acre inland lake. That was coming from somebody that is supposed to care about our natural resources, somebody who should actually be out there fighting for them, not pushing it all aside. It's all a money game. It is greed. You know, after, this is going to seem weird, after I went to Wisconsin and Minnesota, I felt, just from talking to the sports shops and seeing all the statues, the actual fish statues, and seeing the laws they had in place, I realized how little our state actually cares about our resources. These other states that have good fisheries, they are putting in the work. You can tell they truly love them. They are out to save their fisheries for years to come. And to me, it just seems like the state of Michigan doesn't have that care. They really don't, because if they did, they wouldn't be just caring about money and all this stuff. So sorry about the rant. You get me going. Oh. Thank you, Don. Okay, cedar up that way. Yeah, same with hunting. Yep, I agree, man. Yep. Don't get me started on there too. You know, I feel the elk, they should be free range. Those elk should be able to go anywhere they want. I don't know how many of you know this, but the elk in the state of Michigan are not allowed to cross county lines. If they are seen on any other county, they are considered a nuisance and they are killed. They are not allowed to leave the counties in which they are in. Like, the state of Michigan wants to just, it is all about money. They do not care about anything else. Our resources are just junk to them. They really don't care. I wish I could get into the big house downstate and really just start some crap. Yep, that was it. You know, it seemed like back in the 80s they cared more than they do now. But again, back in the 80s, it was also just a money thing. That's why snagging was legal, and they were letting people take the eggs out of things and sell them. And oh yeah, yeah, Rodney, that is why you do not see elk in any of these other counties. It's not because the elk don't want to leave those counties. They can't cross county lines. The state of Michigan keeps them there because they say that if the elk were to come into these other counties, they're going to cause too many problems. They're going to ruin people's crops and fields, even though we're not even eating these crops. Give me a break. These crops and fields, who knows where this money's going? Don't get me started on that, but it's not for us. I'm not eating these damn soybeans, and I don't know where they're going to. But you know, the state cares more about the damage of these money crops than they do about anything else. And yeah, the elk are not allowed to leave those counties. If they do, they're considered a nuisance. They're going to cause problems. That's why they are only in those few counties. You will not see them. They're never going to make it down our way. It sure would be nice, but they're not. The DNR is not going to let them. Yep, the wolves. I don't know enough about that, man. I mean, I hear complaints on both ends, but I've also heard good things about wolves when they have put them into certain sections of the country and they've done good. So again, it's one of those things, like beavers supposedly destroying the forest, but we've got foresters out there cutting down thousands of acres for money. Okay. Beavers do it to live. We do it for money, and it's considered a good thing. Beavers do it, and it's considered, hey, we got to kill them all. So I'm just saying, man, it's become a problem. People feel like they are way above the resources anymore, and it makes me sick. Hey, that's cool. That's cool, Jen. Now, you guys have them in Oscoda. I know you do. Oscoda County is considered one of the ones that they can be in. There are, I don't know, 5 counties up in that square that they are allowed to be in, but they won't be down our way ever, and they're not going to be up north. Probably not. Probably not. I mean, the state doesn't care enough about them. They're just going to take them all out. Montmorency. Yep, Montmorency would have them. I mean, you got all of those counties that you just said, they all got elk viewing areas. If you go to a county that does not have an elk viewing area, not going to find them. Not going to find, because they're not allowed. Huh. That's crazy, John. Oh yeah, they're definitely in Oscoda. Yeah, they're mostly in your top portion of it, but yeah, you guys got them. Because if you look in Oscoda County, you do have viewing areas up in the top portion of it. Grayling, yep, yep. Overpopulation. Exactly, McParlin. Now you tell me, if they're only in a few counties in the state of Michigan, how in the hell can they be overpopulated? How does that work? All right. If they are truly overpopulated, they're going to expand. They will spread into other counties. You know this. I know this. Anybody with a brain knows that if any animal, fish, anything gets overpopulated, they're going to try to expand. They're going to spread out. They have to. They got to go find food. But if the state's not allowing them to, and they try to expand into another county, and they just get killed off. So then, boom, they're overpopulated in the few counties they are allowed in. Let them expand. Let them expand. It's just ridiculous. I agree. I agree. Yeah, that's why, Don. Yep. Those are the special elk areas. It's yeah, you're not Alcona County, we're not going to have an elk. We're not, even though, I mean, this is a great area. We have huge hills. I mean, look at the giant hills and beautiful hardwoods and stuff of around Hubbard Lake. I mean, it's gorgeous. The elk would flourish here. They're not allowed to. They're not allowed to. There's a lot of good places. I think the elk would do good up, north anywhere, really up north, not in the UP, because up there, for any of you that didn't know, it's mostly pines, so they don't have as much of the hardwoods and stuff that the elk and a lot of the animals need to feed on. But yeah, it's disgusting. It really is. And most of the people that make these decisions, I don't like using this word because I shouldn't even care about offending anybody, but there are so many idiots that especially work in our government system that know absolutely nothing about our resources. They know nothing about our fish, nothing about wildlife, but yet they are able to make these giant decisions based on anything, based on word of mouth from anybody else. They don't know it, but hey, they were told this, so let's make this rule. Idiots, straight idiots. Oh yeah, absolutely, Don. But again, they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to. They and I'll tell you, I have enjoyed so much time up there, especially Montmorency County and the areas where these animals live. And if you go hang out there, they claim that they can do a ton of damage. You'd be amazed. These elk, the areas in which they live, sure, their bedding area is going to be bigger than a deer. They're a bigger bodied animal. They're not doing as much damage as these people would say. You can go through the woods. They're not uprooting trees. They're not dinosaurs. Like, you go in these areas where the elk are, and if it wasn't for the elk poop all over the place, you wouldn't know they were there. These don't get me going. Yep, they try to. Oh God, that would be wonderful. Things would change. I've heard that about the deer population, but I've also heard that, okay, this is a true fact. The deer population in the UP has never been as great as it is down here. Again, because you guys have a ton of pine trees, a ton of them. You don't have the habitat that is so great for deer up there to begin with. Now, your counties that do have the hardwoods, like the county on the south center, I can't remember the name of the dang county, but I've read up on it. It has one of the highest populations of deer in the UP. Now, that is because it has the hardwoods. It has the stuff. Yes, you got wolves feeding on them, but at the same time, it has the food and everything else that is needed for those deer to survive. If we were to plant stuff up there, it would help. It would help for sure. And again, we will rant about the wolves until we're blue in the face, but then hunting season comes around and we'll kill thousands and thousands and thousands of deer. That's fine. But hey, the wolves suck. So I'm off for the night, guys. I got too much of a rant going on. I hope you enjoy this week. I'll be putting stuff out for you. I hope you guys have a great night, great week, and hopefully you enjoyed this evening. If not, I apologize for that. But I will chat with you guys again next Sunday. Stay tuned, and hopefully I'll have a lot of stuff to talk about.